What is going on, everyone? We are here for week 2 of the Ferrari Fixed Challenge GT3 Track Guide Series. This week we are at Spa Francorchamps. Pretty cool circuit for these cars. Obviously we've done in the previous past a 4A8 video around here, so if you want to check that out, that'll be up here, and you can check that out through one of our old YouTube videos. If not, yeah, 296 is slightly different. It is quite interesting, the comparisons between the two. We definitely have a longer gear ratio. We're definitely one gear lower than we were in the 4A8 at times. So slight little differences, but all in all, it should be quite a fun combo this week. So looking forward to getting into it with you. So your track conditions for the week are right here. Hopefully this helps you when you guys are testing, and just to give you an understanding of what conditions we tested in. We have had instances lately where we've been testing 20 degrees hotter and it doesn't compare lap time wise, but it's not always about lap time, it's about actually what we're doing with the car and where we're placing it as well. So just bear that in mind when you're doing your practice. So looking forward to getting into it, so let's go. Alright guys, so now we're going to break down the lap. So as we're coming down into turn 1, you want to brake just past the 100 meter board. Now I put myself in this position here, so you'll see the gap in the fence right in the corner here. Just before it gets to the end of my bezel on my middle monitor, I just start to apply the big brake pressure. 4th gear back to 1st. Now there's a big change with this car compared to the old Ferrari. It seems to be it's 1 gear lower in most areas. It obviously has a longer drive ratio, or the way the Challenge Ferrari setup's set up, it just seems to require a lower gear for a little bit of extra rotation and to actually just help punch the car out of the corner. So once you get to the 50 meter board, you want to start turning the car. So we turn the car at the corner. Now as you drop the car down into the corner, you want to get as close to this wall as possible, just as you're clipping through. So you'll see I'm nice and close to the wall here. I'm going to start to feed the wheel outwards and open the steering quite quickly. I'm going to use all the curb here and chase the car right out. Up through the gears we go. As you're coming down the hill, we're not even braking in this car, even on cold tyres. Turn into the flag marshal hut, use all this curb here, and then just get the car to come back across this way. And then up over the crest, use a little bit of curb here, and let the car track right out to the edge of the road. So it's a lot easier in this car. The car just seems to have a little bit more aero grip, so it doesn't have that sort of understeering moment that the 488 used to have. So coming down the back straight, you'll get up to 6th gear. You want to make sure you set yourself up on the left hand side of the track. We're braking at the start of the curb here. Nice big brake pressure. 6th gear back to 2nd gear. Now we're using 2nd gear just to help with the rotation into the corner. So you'll see as it gets to this point here, I turn in at the end of the curb. So right now, turn the car in at the corner. 2 wheels over this top bit of this curb here. Little bit of throttle as you come off the curb as you're diagonaling towards the second part of the chicane. And then tap the brake, get the car on the curb. Now don't throttle up too early here. You want to make sure you come off the curb as close to the left hand side as possible to really open up the next part of the corner. Short shift to 3rd at this point here. Turn in just before the end of the curb. So I'm turning in about this point here. So about 6 red squares from the end. I pick the throttle up right to the inside curb. 2 wheels over the curb. The car's going to rotate through and chase it right out to the edge of the road. Use all the extra curb, all this extra runoff, and then run it down the hill up to 4th gear. Nice big brake pressure at the start of the curb here. And then I sort of diagonal the car in, so it's like I'm trying to keep the car straight, but I'm slowly starting to track towards the inside, and I'm trailing the brake really deep into this corner. So all the way back to 2nd gear, trail the brake in, you sort of cut across the track, turn in, hug the curb, still on the trail, till you get to this point right here. And you'll see as I stop and do this, you'll see that little guide post right there next to the green fence pole. That is where we start to pick the throttle up. So from there, you pick the throttle up, let the car track all the way out. You're going to use quite a lot of exit curb because you're carrying a lot of speed. Start to run it back towards the right hand side. Now this one's a bit of a field corner, and to get it right is quite challenging actually, because it's so easy to run wide on the exit and actually get an off track. So just trying to find that balance. I'm turning in just before this fence on the right hand side here, and I'm trying to just flow the car through as fast as I can with with as much momentum as possible. So you can go 2nd or 3rd through here. I feel like 2nd just gives you a little bit more attack at it, but 3rd does work quite nicely as well, especially if you get that line perfect. You're able to really flow the car through there. So clip the curb, let the car run out. As long as you've got 1 set of tyres on the curb, you are fine. You've got really till the metal grey. I don't push it that far, just for like giving myself a little bit of leeway. Make sure you get the whole car back on the road before the end of the curb. Up through the gears. Now this one's a bit unique. So I actually made a mistake in one of my practice laps, and it actually helped me find a little bit of time. So I was a 5th to 4th guy through here, and I'm braking at the traffic lights to sort of get the car to turn in, but I actually found that I could rev it right out in 4th gear and it didn't lose too much, and then I actually banged it back to 3rd gear, and the car rotated really nicely on entry, and then I short shifted to 4th. So you can sort of go either way with it. I don't know how that method's going to work on a longer race run. I don't know if you're going to sort of use the tyre more because she's leaning on it a bit harder, but that's there's two options there. So I definitely am probably more comfortable with the 5th to 4th sort of scenario, and especially with like an endurance race or something like that, I probably want that little bit extra. But just so you know that 3rd does work through here. So brake at the traffic lights, turn in just before the end of the curb here. You want to get the car to the inside as quick as possible, and you sort of trail the brake till you get to this point just before the end of the curb, and then you need to be on the throttle hard. The car's going to track wide. You're going to use all the circuit, and then you want to try and open it up so you can carry all the speed through here. Run it right out to the exit curb, and then start to chase it back towards the left for the next big braking zone. 5th gear, brake at the start of the curb. Back to 3rd, turn in at this green concrete patch that just starts behind the curb. So turn the car now. Pick 2 wheels up on the curb, let it rotate through. I sort of set myself more in the middle here, and I want to turn in early at this next chicane, so I start to turn the car quite aggressively early. Try and get 2 wheels up on the curb. Be patient with the throttle until you get to about this point here. You'll see that on the back of the wall there's like a little traffic light system just up ahead, and I sort of, from that point, I want to make sure I'm on the throttle. The car's going to slide right out to the edge of the road. This one you've got to be a little bit more cautious with. It is quite easy to get an off track here. Don't go past that white line with your left hand tyres, because it will bite you there. And then track it back across in 3rd gear still. Brake just after the start of the curb. Back to 2nd gear. Turn in at the end of the curb. 2 wheels up on the inside here just to really help the car to rotate through. Pick the throttle up nice and early. Let the car track right out. Use all the curb again. Same on this. Use the right hand tyres can come right up to the metal grate, but you wouldn't go past that back of the curb part. Let the car track on. This bit's pretty tricky, so you want to try and get it flat through here, and it all depends on how early you turn in. If you turn in too early, the car's not going to go flat through here. If you can get it right to the end of that curve on the outside, you should be able to get it pretty close. It might be a slight hesitant lift just to make sure the car the grip's up through here. Let it run right out to the escape curb. Use all the curbing. Start plucking gears and head towards Blanchemont. 5th gear, get close to this white line, let the car track out to the exit white line, turn in nice and early, carry the throttle through here, up to 6th gear on the exit, and then start to set yourself up for the nice big braking zone. Under the bridge zone sign, you're looking for the white line across the track. Just past it, so it's about 155, 160 metre-ish. And I diagonal the car back from 6th gear all the way to 1st gear. And I come in at a diagonal. I get 2 tyres up on the curb in the final part of the braking zone. And then I turn in at this point here. So there's nothing really to signify. The only thing I can show you is these, these little squares in the fence. But the problem is there's so many of them, it is quite hard to spot it. But if you can use, there's sort of 2 grouped together, and then there's a couple of gap, and then there's 2 grouped together. So if you could use that, that would work quite well. You can sort of see also that my middle monitor bezel is just at the apex as well. So if you go from that point there, turn the car in, you're going to get 2 tyres up on the curb here, which is great. Try and set yourself up more to the right hand side. As soon as you get to this white line here, you want to turn the car back at the corner, use all the curb on the inside, get the car as straight as quick as possible so you can really punch the throttle out of here. And there you go, guys, that is your walkthrough track guide for week 2 of the Ferrari GT3 Fixed Challenge Series. Hope this has helped you. Good luck for your second week of racing, and we will see you next week for week 3. Thanks, guys.